12,800 years ago, something hit the Earth. The ice sheets covering North America melted in weeks. Sea levels rose more than 400 feet. Continental coastlines vanished overnight. Forests burned across 4 continents. And every civilization that existed before that moment was buried, submerged, or simply erased. Mainstream archaeology will tell you there was nothing to lose. That the humans living before this date were primitive, nomadic, hunter-gatherers who could not have built, mapped, or carved anything of consequence. But the ground says otherwise. 8 sites on 5 continents, each one constructed, quarried, or mapped before the impact that mainstream science only admitted was real in 2007. This is what they built before the world ended, and what was left when it did. I am Aeon, and these are the 8 places that should not exist. Before we begin, let me show you what the Younger Dryas actually was. For most of the 20th century, geologists believed the end of the Ice Age was gradual. A slow warming, a retreating glacier, a planet returning to balance. That story collapsed in 2007. A team of researchers, led by Richard Firestone, found something embedded in a thin black layer of sediment that runs across North America, parts of Europe, and the Middle East. Nanodiamonds, melted silica spherules, platinum at concentrations only found in extraterrestrial material. The layer dates to exactly 12,800 years before present. What it means is this: a comet, or a fragment of one, broke apart over the North American ice sheet. The impact and the firestorm that followed triggered a 1,000-year cold snap, the rapid collapse of the Laurentide Glacier, and a global sea level rise of over 120 meters. Coastlines that had been stable for thousands of years disappeared, and so did anything built on them. This is not fringe theory anymore. The black mat layer has been documented at over 50 sites worldwide. The platinum spike is in the Greenland ice core. Crater impact evidence has been found beneath the Hiawatha Glacier in Greenland. Something happened. The question that mainstream archaeology refuses to ask is what was lost. These are 8 places that survived, either because they were inland, or because they were high, or because they were buried before the impact arrived. Number 1. Göbekli Tepe, Anatolia, southeastern Turkey. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd found a strange stone protruding from a hillside near the town of Sundaland. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating, he uncovered what he later called the most important archaeological discovery of the 20th century. Massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 20 tons, arranged in stone circles. Carved into them with precision that should not have been possible were images of foxes, scorpions, vultures, snakes, and humanoid figures with arms but no faces. The site was built around 9,600 BCE, 11,600 years ago, more than 7,000 years before the pyramids of Giza, more than 6,000 years before writing, more than 5,000 years before agriculture, according to the textbooks. But the most disturbing detail is not the age, it is what happened to it. Around 8,000 BCE, the entire complex was deliberately buried, filled in with sand and rubble by the same people who built it. They did not abandon it, they hid it. The question no archaeologist has answered is why. Number 2, Karahan Tepe, 40 kilometers from Göbekli Tepe. If Göbekli Tepe broke the timeline, Karahan Tepe shattered it. Excavations only began in earnest in 2019. What has emerged since is a site of similar scale and craftsmanship, with one critical difference. Some of the underlying structures appear to be older. The site contains a chamber carved directly into bedrock, with 11 phallic pillars rising from the floor, and a sculpted human head emerging from one of the walls, watching the chamber. The function of the room is unknown. The carving is unmistakable. The Turkish government has now identified at least 12 sites in the same region with similar features. Archaeologists have begun calling the network the Tas Tepeler, the Stone Hills. Together, they suggest not a single ceremonial site, but an entire prehistoric culture, building in stone before the official invention of civilization. And like Göbekli Tepe, these sites were also buried, sealed, hidden. Number 3, Gunung Padang, West Java, Indonesia. For most of the 20th century, Gunung Padang was classified as a megalithic site dating to roughly 2500 BCE. a series of stepped stone terraces on a hilltop considered an interesting but minor Bronze Age ruin. Then geologist Danny Hillman Nadawijaja began drilling. What he found beneath the visible terraces was not natural rock. It was layered construction, andesite columns arranged in precise patterns, with cavities between them filled with what appeared to be a primitive form of concrete. The structure extended downward for at least 30 meters. In 2023, his team published radiocarbon dates from the organic material within the lower layers. The deepest samples returned ages between 16,000 and 27,000 years. If accurate, Gunung Padang is not just older than Göbekli Tepe. It is older than the last glacial maximum. The paper was retracted under pressure from mainstream archaeology. The dates remain, the cavities remain, the structure remains, and it sits today in the middle of a jungle in Java, waiting. Number 4, Yonaguni, off the coast of southern Japan. In 1986, a Japanese diver named Kihachiro Aratake was searching for shark territory off the small island of Yonaguni in the Ryukyu chain. At a depth of 25 meters, he found something else. A massive step structure rising from the seafloor. Right angles, flat terraces, a staircase, channels carved into stone, a formation that looked unmistakably like a city. Marine geologists divided into two camps. Some argued the formation was natural, the product of fractured sandstone. Others, including Professor Masaki Kimura of the University of the Ryukyus, argued the geometry was too precise, too repeated, too aligned. Whatever it is, one fact is not in dispute. At the end of the last ice age, 12,000 years ago, that section of the seafloor was dry land. Whoever or whatever shaped those stones did it before the water came. And the water came at exactly the moment we are tracking. Number 5, Sundaland. This is not a single site, it is a continent. During the Ice Age, sea levels were 120 meters lower than today. The shallow seas between modern Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam did not exist. In their place was a single, vast subcontinent. Geologists call it Sundaland. It covered an area larger than India. Sundaland was warm, tropical, stable. It contained river systems, mountain ranges, and ecological zones that were among the most habitable on Earth during a period when most of the northern hemisphere was buried under ice. When the younger Dryas impact triggered the melt, Sundaland drowned. The rising waters cut Borneo, Java, and Sumatra from the mainland. 4 million square kilometers of coastline disappeared in a geological instant. Genetic studies of populations across Polynesia and Madagascar show signatures pointing back to this region. Oral traditions across Southeast Asia speak of a great motherland that sank beneath the waves. Indian epics describe it, Chinese chronicles reference it, and underneath the Java Sea, sonar mapping continues to reveal anomalies. Linear features, right angles, things that do not occur in nature. Number 6, Doggerland. For thousands of years, the North Sea between Great Britain and continental Europe was not a sea at all. It was a land bridge, forested, river-cut, inhabited. Fishing trawlers off the eastern coast of England have pulled up artifacts from this region for over a century. Bone harpoons, carved antler tools, mammoth tusks. In 2015, a survey team mapped an entire submerged river valley, complete with the remains of Mesolithic settlements lying beneath 60 meters of seawater. The drowning of Doggerland was not slow. Geological cores show that the final inundation happened around 6,200 BCE, when a massive underwater landslide off Norway, the Storegga Slide, sent a tsunami across the entire North Sea basin. But the drowning had begun much earlier, with the younger Dryas, with the same meltwater that erased coastlines across the world. We have only mapped a small fraction of what is down there. Settlements built by people we have no name for, in a country that no longer appears on any map. Number 7, Atlit Yam, off the coast of northern Israel. 12 meters beneath the Mediterranean, 300 meters offshore from the modern city of Atlit, lies a complete Neolithic village. Not the ruin of one, the village itself. Stone houses with intact walls, a grain storage facility, a well still containing the bones of fish and the seeds of plants the inhabitants ate, a stone circle, 7 megaliths arranged around what appears to have been a freshwater spring, oriented in a way archaeologists believe held ceremonial meaning. The site is dated to between 7,000 and 8,000 BCE. What makes Atlit Yam unique is preservation. The site was inundated quickly, possibly by another tsunami, and sealed under sediment before it could be looted, weathered, or destroyed. The bodies of its inhabitants have been found in the same positions they died in. One mother and child were found together. The mother had tuberculosis. This is what we lost. Not myth, not legend. An actual community with names we will never know, dragged under by the same rising water that ended every other settlement on this list. Number 8. Bimini Road, off the western coast of North Bimini Island, the Bahamas. In 1968, two pilots flying over the shallow waters off Bimini reported seeing a straight line of large stone blocks beneath the surface. Subsequent dives confirmed the formation. A stretch of rectangular limestone blocks, some over 4 meters across, running for roughly 800 meters along the seafloor at a depth of 5 meters. Mainstream geology classifies the formation as natural beach rock fractured into rectangular pieces along stress lines. Other researchers have pointed to features that beach rock does not produce. Stones placed on top of other stones in two distinct layers. Wedge stones jammed beneath larger blocks as if to level them. Tool marks on some surfaces. Whatever its origin, the formation sits in waters that were dry land at the end of the last ice age. If it is artificial, it was built before the sea returned. If it is natural, then by sheer accident, it is the most geometric coincidence the geological record has ever produced. We may never know. 8 sites, 5 continents, 1 pattern, every one of them either inland and buried or coastal and drowned. Every one of them dates to the same window, the centuries surrounding the younger Dryas impact. The orthodox view is that civilization began in Mesopotamia around 4000 BCE, when humans invented agriculture, cities, and writing in roughly that order. Every site on this list contradicts that timeline, some of them by thousands of years, one of them possibly by tens of thousands. The orthodox view also says that the people who built Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, and the rest of the Tepe were hunter-gatherers who somehow paused their migrations long enough to carve 20-ton pillars with stone tools, then went back to hunting. That they did this with no precedent, no predecessor culture, no technology to inherit. There is another possibility, that these sites are not the beginning of anything. They are the end, the last fragments of something older, something coastal, something that did not survive when the waters came. We do not have the evidence to prove that civilization yet, but every year the sea floor gives up a little more. A wall here, a causeway there, a submerged temple off the coast of India, a pyramid beneath the waves off Cuba, a stone road in the Bahamas that may or may not be a road. The Younger Dryas did not just end an ice age, it ended a chapter of human history that mainstream archaeology has not yet agreed to read. But the question is not whether they existed, the question is who they were. Because in one valley in southeastern Turkey, at the foot of the very hill where Göbekli Tepe was built, archaeologists have now uncovered the oldest sculpted human face ever found, carved before the impact, buried with the rest, staring out from a culture that, according to every textbook, should not have known how to look back at us. Next time on Aeon Archives, we will go inside that valley. We will look at what they carved, and we will ask the question that the dirt cannot answer. Who were they trying to remember? I am Aeon. Thank you for watching.